Hello and good afternoon, good morning, shall I say, to Hairdressing Live. I'm so sorry for starting a little bit late today, but we are here now anyway to broadcast our interview. Today we have Antony Whitaker. He is the ultimate educator. He has 30 years experience in the industry. He is a multi-award winning stylist turned into educator, motivator and business coach. And not only that, he's a worldwide renowned selling author as well. And I'm so happy to have him with us today. So welcome anyway, Antony.
Thank you very much. It's a real pleasure to be here on Hairdressing Live.
Brilliant. Look, I mean, we were just chatting there. We just had some questions because this interview, because we're going live in about at 11:30. But let me just touch on a couple of things. I mean, your books, you've got 4 books out at the moment. Yeah. I just wanted you to explain to us, I mean, in business, I believe the success of business is knowledge, it's education, to be able to provide, or even for us to tap into that area to motivate us to continue on in our industry. But explain to me about your book. I mean, you've got 4 books out at the moment, and The Super Stylist was the first one you wrote, wasn't it?
Yeah, the book sort of came due to demand from the seminars. Basically, what I do is a series of different seminars, and each seminar I've gradually turned into a book. And so, you know, people often ask me how long did it take to write the book, and the real answer is it's taken 35 years of being a hairdresser to write the book, but the actual physical writing the bit, you know, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, because what it really was doing was turning the PowerPoint presentations, turning the seminars into a book format. And essentially what we do, the Super Stylist is the first one, and that's, I'm going to talk about them a little bit more when I do my presentation shortly, but you know, they address the pillars of business, so management, money, marketing and team building. In fact, I shouldn't have said money, that was a fraudulent slip. It is going to be money. That's the next one in the sequel. That'll be number 5.
Okay, and I mean, what sort of reaction have you had from people reading the books? I mean, do you recommend, is it salon owners, is it managers, is it like leaders within the industry? Who do you think is directed most, and who gets the most benefit out of them?
The one that I sell the most of is Super Stylist, and Super Stylist is aimed at anyone in the industry. So in a lot of cases it's used as like a handbook for hairdressers. So, you know, I'll often get orders of 20, 30, 40 of them for big salons, and they give them to each of their staff. And that book's very much about getting hairdressers to understand that they're responsible for their own productivity, that they're responsible for how much they earn, and so it's giving them the tools to do it. Whereas the other books are very much aimed just at owners and maybe managers as well.
Okay, very good, very good. Look, I mean, to be honest with you, there's not much out there for us. I mean, we talk about business, and I love the way you've actually directed it towards the stylist, because there's not much out there for the stylists, you know what I mean? That's why I think it's very crucial. I mean, as salon owners, I mean, I'm a salon owner of 2 salons, and to motivate your staff or provide them with knowledge and provide them with, I mean, we're constantly reading, myself, constantly reading and trying to give it back to the staff to motivate them and inspire them to continue on in their industry. But something directly for the stylist, that's really, really incredible. For something to succeed in this industry, I think it's beneficial to know your industry and be, you know, 100% clear in where your direction is and so on and so forth. But look, I mean, you mentioned marketing there as well. How do you believe that's changed in the industry since you've written the book? Because it changes ever so much, doesn't it, as well? Like, I mean, or is the basics the same?
Yeah, the fundamentals of marketing are exactly the same. Okay. The new kid on the block, so to speak, is social media, or not really just social media, all things digital marketing. The marketing book is the most recent one of the 3 and 4. And I'm a great believer in social media, but social media is a tool. So the tool that you use to do your marketing is what's changed. But essentially, you know, the marketing message that you're trying to get out there, it's pretty much the same. It's just packaged in a different way.
Okay, you're going to be covering that today?
I'm going to touch on that, yeah.
Okay, okay, great. I'm looking forward to that. Look, I mean, you do a business school, I see online on your website there, that you do a business school. Explain to me a little bit about that. What do people get out of that? Is it a day course, 2-day course, 3-day course?
Okay, well, what I do is most people who open salons are unequipped for the reality of running businesses. Their skill is hairdressing. Their skill is not marketing. It's not money. It's not HR. You know, it's not management. So they jump in the deep end, and So what I have is a series of courses that I do. The management one's a one-day course, and that's very much a sort of an introduction into my world. Business school is then a combination of marketing, money, and team building together. So it's a 3-day event, which, you know, like the books, it deals with those pillars of business, because that's what all businesses are. They're a mixture of operations, marketing, finance, and HR. And the fundamentals of it are always the same, but often the tools that you use are what changes, what evolves. Social media is a really good example of that with marketing.
Okay, very good. How often do you do the business schools?
I do a lot in the States. I probably am working 20% of my time in the States, 10% in the UK. I work all over the world. So I've done seminars in like 50 different countries. I live in the UK, but you know, I sort of work everywhere. And next year, I'll be doing more in the US than ever before, because it's such a great market. You know, A, they speak the same language. B, they love education. They love learning. They're very receptive to new ideas. They're very receptive to growth. And you know, they speak the same language, so it's and there's a lot of people, so it's a really, you know, good market for me. So how often do I do them? I do them as often as need be. A lot of the stuff I do is for independent groups, so you never get to hear about it, or through specific manufacturers in different countries, working directly with their client base.
Okay, very good indeed. Look, I mean, can I just ask? Just one other thing about a lot of people keep asking actually about, you know, people turn into the business consultancy side of things, because Antony has like a wealth of knowledge in the hairdressing industry. You've run salons in Australia, right? You work in Vidal Sassoon. My God, you're going to be touching on this in the presentation, I guess. But I mean, what is it? How come you did the transition over to the? Because you don't do salons anymore. You don't.
It sort of happened by default. My time at Sassoon was as an educator primarily, so I was there for 10 years doing demonstrations. When I moved to Australia, I opened up my own salons and continued to do education. And you know what it's like, you're up there, you've got an audience, you're doing a haircut, and you get halfway through it and you say, now I'm going to do the same on the other side. All of a sudden there's a sort of a bit of a lull, because I'm doing the same on the other side. And what started happening was people started asking questions about my business, because I had a successful business. So all of a sudden someone says to me, how do you motivate your staff? How do you employ staff? What do you do if you've got somebody who's not performing? You know, what's the best marketing campaign you've ever done? So what I found was that halfway through a haircut, the questions would sort of change from how to do the haircut to business questions. And so I sort of evolved in that direction, and it just grew because there's a real need for it. There's lots of people in this industry all over the world who, you know, will stand up here and they'll do a haircut and a colour. But as an industry, there is a shortage of people who know what they're talking about and who will get up there and give good, sound, practical, solid advice on how to run businesses more successfully. Because if you're not running the business successfully, the creative side hasn't got a leg to stand on, because you know, you're just not going to survive. So the two need to go hand in hand.
Yeah, very good indeed. Do you know what? I'm super excited and I can't wait for this presentation, because I'm going to learn so much by this as well. And listen, could you explain to all our viewers today, what's the seminar going to be filled with today?
Okay, well, I mean, as I said, all the seminars I do are full day seminars. So today is just a sort of a chunk out of the management program I do. Because I'm a great believer in that it starts with you know, you the owner, you the manager. So, you know, that's really what we're focusing on today.
The book stops with
exactly. The buck stops with you. So, you know, we're focusing on you, the manager, and what stage of life is your business currently in. That's a really important thing to get your head around. And then talking about the tools of management. Like, what are the tools? I mean, as a hairdresser, the tools of the hairdresser are the scissors, comb, the section clip, the blow dryer.
Yeah.
Well, they're not going to help you in terms of being a manager. So what are the tools of management? So that's sort of, you know, they're the two areas. The cycle of business, identifying what part of the cycle your business is in, and then secondly, the tools of management. So it's sort of like maybe almost like a checklist of what are you doing, what are you not doing.
Okay. So, yeah. And you mentioned in your promo video there, I mean, these are things, these are tools to use, but they don't hold any value unless they're applied.
That's it.
Do you know what I mean? And
Yes.
it's like you have to apply these rules. I mean, people can get inspired for a period of time and go into the salon. And hopefully after this, now people inspired and go out and, make a difference. But it's up to you as a salon owner to keep maintaining that level of sort of input and that level of motivation, isn't it?
Exactly, and that's what I'm going to open up with, because that is imperative.
Okay, very good.
Cool.
Listen, guys, we're going to have to get Antony ready for the live class. So if you don't have a ticket, you can buy one at the bottom of this link underneath our Facebook page, and join Antony's class today. We'll see you all soon at 11:30.
Look forward to it.